Discover the incredible moment when a poor boy joined a CEO's paralyzed daughter's party, transforming lives forever. Danny's heart raced as he approached the Thompsons' mansion, its grandeur looming above him like a castle. The glittering chandeliers inside sparkled like stars. He gulped, feeling the weight of his worn sneakers. The invitation had been a dream, a chance to step into a world he only ever sketched in his notepad, bursting with colors and hope. Yet, now, as he stepped across the threshold, his excitement twisted into dread. The laughter and chatter of the affluent guests felt like a stinging reminder of all he lacked, a soundtrack to his insecurities. He searched for Emily, his best friend and the birthday girl. Her smile was bright, just like the colorful balloons that adorned the room. When their eyes locked, the anxiety faded for just a moment. "You came," she chirped, hugging him tightly. Danny felt warmth seep through him, a flicker of hope illuminating his heart. But as they wandered through the party, whispers and sidelong glances followed him, solid reminders that he didn't belong. He could almost hear them, the muffled judgments. Who let him in? Look at those shoes. But then he found a quiet corner filled with art supplies, a haven amidst the chaos. As he sketched, the pencil felt right in his hand, gliding across the paper as vivid scenes sprang to life. Suddenly, Danny and Emily shared a laugh over a funny doodle. They were artists, my heart, bound by dreams, far removed from the glitz this party projected, yet, when a misunderstanding erupted regarding a sought-after painting made for Emily, the air cracked with tension. The festive chatter turned into sharp whispers. A coveted piece she had loved, crumpled in Danny's hands during a twist of fate. Emily froze, her eyes widening in panic. My dad will be furious. This day is supposed to be perfect. She stammered. As the murmurs crescendoed, Danny's heart raced, torn between defending her and fitting in with the judgmental crowd circling like vultures that he approached Mark Thompson, the imposing CEO, whose very name conjured visions of wealth and authority. Danny's chest tightened, but he took a deep breath. Mr. Thompson, this isn't about the painting. It's about. The room grew silent, eyes fixated on Danny, a 12-year-old boy standing before a titan. It's about the pain of feeling like you're not enough because of what you have or don't have. The whispers dwindled, anticipation thick in the air. Danny continued, sharing how class barriers kept them apart despite the worlds they both longed to experience. People are valuable for their kindness and heart, not their bank accounts. Emily deserves this day to be about joy, about art. Not about wealth. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Danny's words hung heavy in the room, transforming the festive air into something raw and real, a crossroads of emotions. Would the attendees shed their judgments and embrace the courage in Danny's call for unity? As Danny stood there, hope flickering in his chest, he couldn't help but wonder, would Mark Thompson recognize the strength behind a boy who dared to speak out, or would the evening slip back into superficiality, leaving the beauty of their friendship behind? Every eye in the room lingered, waiting for a shift that could change everything. The silence that wrapped around the space felt like a tight hug, both comforting and suffocating. Danny held his breath, anticipation thrumming in his ears. Mark Thompson's face was a mask, and for a moment, Danny feared he'd de-chiseled it from stone, but then, something shifted. A softening in Mark's cold demeanor as he scanned the sea of expectant faces. He leaned forward, eyes locking onto Danny. You're right, he finally said, his voice booming but surprisingly gentle. This day is not about the money or stature. It's about joy and connection. Gasps traveled through the crowd, the guests momentarily caught off guard by his words. Emily's face lit up, relief flooding over her. Dad! She whispered, her voice a mix of happiness and disbelief. It was her birthday, and on this day, the impossible began to feel possible. Mark turned, looking at his daughter and then back at Danny. "How can we fix this?" There was an open invitation in his tone, a suggestion that perhaps this moment could lead to understanding rather than condemnation. Danny's heart surged. "It's about the art, sir, not just any piece. This painting, it's a reflection of what we feel inside." Suddenly, the initial nerves began to transform into conviction. If we share our stories, and our hearts through art, it will mean so much more to Emily and anyone who sees it. The crowd shifted, murmurs rising anew with curiosity. Had this boy stumbled upon a truth that had eluded them all? Mark nodded, taking a step toward Danny. "Why don't you show us, then?" The audacity of this request hung in the air, framing the moment in a tight circle of unity that transcended class boundaries. Danny couldn't believe what he had just heard. "Really?" he asked, incredulous. "Yes," Mark said, his eyes alight with an enthusiasm that surprised everyone present. He gestured toward the canvas, the crumpled piece that had caused such turmoil. "Let us turn this around. Show us what you see. Not just as children of our respective worlds, but as creators." Fingers trembling, Danny picked up his pencil and glanced at Emily, who stood wide-eyed, urging him silently to continue. Taking a deep breath, he began to sketch, channeling his emotions onto the canvas. Each stroke was filled with hope, dreams, and the deep connection he shared with Emily. It wasn't just a painting, it was a statement art creating bridges where wealth built walls. The guests, initially skeptical, leaned in to watch, their whispers dissipating into fascinated silence. As the images unfolded, Danny felt the air shift. It was electrifying, breathing life into the moment, a collective awareness that transformation was brewing. Just as Danny added the final touch to the painting, a beep echoed through the room. A slender woman in a wheelchair glided into view, her presence commanding the crowd effortlessly. Suddenly, every head turned. "Emily, what is happening?" Her voice was warm yet authoritative, a spirit that captured everyone instantly. The CEO's wife, Grace Thompson, was known for her philanthropic ventures but seldom made public appearances since the accident that left her reliant on her chair. Danny's breath caught as he met her gentle gaze. Would she understand what he was trying to convey? Would Mark stand by him now that the stakes were rising? "Mom, this is Danny," Emily said excitedly. He just transformed everything. As Grace took in the view the messy, beautiful artwork that had sprung to life, Danny felt a new sense of purpose surge within him. This was about more than just him, it was about their shared humanity. But how would the rest of the world react now that the curtain was pulled back? Would they embrace this moment, or would the shadows linger? Danny glanced at Emily, who nodded encouragingly. He took a deep breath, ready to reveal not only the art on the canvas but also the art of their lives intertwined. What consequences awaited beyond this moment of truth? Danny could feel the unyielding weight of Grace Thompson's gaze as she scrutinized the painting. The colors danced across the canvas, bright strokes of blue, yellow, and green intermingled with the darker shades that represented the struggles, emotions, and dreams of two very different worlds. He wondered if she could see the connection he felt with Emily, the bond that had grown between them during that fateful day at the park. "Grace," Mark began, his voice softer now, as if he realized the profound significance of this moment. "Danny has portrayed something truly special here." Grace's eyes flitted from the artwork to Danny, her expression a blend of curiosity and recognition. "This is more than just paint on a canvas," she said slowly, her voice steady. "It's a story of hope." Danny's heart raced. Hope. That's what he wanted to convey, but did she truly understand? Both her son and his daughter were standing on a precipice. The world frequently saw boundaries, today, he wished for them to unite instead. "Can you tell us what it means?" Grace asked, an earnest plea wrapped in kindness. Swallowing hard, Danny nodded, gathering his thoughts like loose papers blowing in the wind. It's about connection. About emotions we often hide. Sometimes it feels like walls are built between us, but art can break those walls down. I wanted to show how our lives, different as they are still intertwined. The crowd shifted, whispers rising, yet again a hum of uncertainty mixed with something resembling agreement. It was as if the audience was rebooting, recalibrating. The initial skepticism was fading, but Danny sensed the gravity of this moment would demand more than just explanations. Grace smiled softly at Danny, her voice growing warmer. "You're right. Art connects us more than words sometimes can. We've built our lives around success, but it can leave us feeling empty. How often do we stop to appreciate what unites us instead?" Each word fell like a soothing balm over the room. She glanced at Mark, whose own expression was now reflective, almost regretful. These were not just wealthy individuals in designer clothes, they were parents, just like Danny's mom, people searching for meaning, for connection. Suddenly, a small voice piped up from the side. "Can I paint?" A little girl, maybe 5 or 6 years old, stood next to her, wide-eyed and holding a small box of crayons. It caught everyone off guard, but in that moment, her innocent question seemed to encapsulate what Danny longed to express. "Of course," Grace replied, her voice ringing with joy. "Everyone should be able to share their art." Danny grinned at the girl, feeling a spark of inspiration reignite within him. They were all stepping into the same arena, leaving behind the burdens of status, wealth, and preconceptions. This was the beginning of a movement, he could feel it. "Let anyone paint," he exclaimed, his own voice lifting, echoing through the room. "We can all create together." As chairs shifted, and excited murmurs exploded into laughter and applause, Danny felt a warmth surge in his chest. The once tense space was now bursting with energy, but in the midst of this joyful chaos, Danny's heart still carried an underlying question: what came next? Was this moment truly a turning point, or would the world revert to what it had always known? He met Emily's gaze across the room, her eyes shimmering with excitement. There was hope in that look, but beneath it also lay uncertainty. They were stepping into an unknown future, a realm where their dreams and realities would collide. Just then, Grace turned to Danny, her eyes filled with curiosity. "What if we use this day to help others? Could this painting lead to something bigger?" Danny's breath caught. What if this moment could spark a change beyond them? Could their art reach those who felt like they didn't belong? Could it? Danny whispered, a world of possibilities opening up before him. As he watched the small girl draw, adding her bright colors to the canvas, he felt exhilarated and terrified all at once, the tension crackling through the air. What if the greatest transformation was just beginning, waiting for him to take the first step? Danny stood at the center of the room, a whirlwind of emotions swirling around him. The laughter and joy of those gathered felt like a warm tide washing over the uncertainty that had hung just moments before. Yet, beneath the surface, the questions churned: what would come from this unity? Could they truly create something lasting? The little girl was carefully adding yellow to a patch of green near the canvas's edge, her concentration earnest. It reminded Danny of Emily, her determination, her spirit. He glanced towards his daughter, who was busy handing out blank sheets of paper and pencils to anyone willing to partake. Their eyes met again, and in that brief moment, he saw a reflection of his own hopes. This was their time to shine. "Will you paint with me, too?" Emily asked, her voice bright with enthusiasm as she approached the little girl. "Aha!" the girl chirped, her enthusiasm infectious. She didn't even hesitate, scooping up a new crayon from the box and urging Emily closer. Danny felt a knot of warmth well up within him. This was a true connection, a moment when art bridged worlds, breaking down boundaries. He smiled, hoping that the energy transcended this room and reached others beyond the boundaries of their lives. "Danny, look!" Grace called over the delighted laughter as more children poured in. The atmosphere burgeoned with creativity and curiosity. Art was spreading before him, a wave gathering strength. He had never imagined art could become a communal activity in this way. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" he remarked, stepping closer to her. He pointed toward the children. They don't care who anyone is or how much money they have. They just want to create. Grace nodded, her eyes sparking with an idea that seemed to flicker to life. What if? She started, her voice rising with excitement. What if we had a gallery showcase? A place where children can display their art. We can invite families, friends, people from all backgrounds. Imagine the impact it could have. Danny felt a surge of inspiration again. A showcase, yes. And we can use the proceeds to help local kids access art supplies and programs. This could be what we do, something greater. Just then, someone spoke up from the crowd. How do we make this happen? A man in a beige jacket stepped forward, his hands clasped together in anticipation. His question opened the floodgates, and soon the room erupted with suggestions, ideas on how to spread the word, how to bring local businesses on board, and how to involve schools. Amid all of this, Danny's heart raced. This was more than a moment, it was a movement. He could already see flyers circulating, kids roaming the neighborhood with paint-stained hands, inviting everyone in. This was going to be a cultural event that wrote a new narrative in their community, and then it dawned on him the greatest change didn't need to come only from them. What if we asked the kids to tell their own stories through their art? He proposed. Highlight their experiences, their joy, their pain. They have voices worth hearing. As the room buzzed with excitement at the idea, Danny felt lightheaded with possibility. Emily joined his side, her eyes wide and filled with joy. This was about inclusivity. It was about understanding the beauty in their differences and allowing each child's voice to resonate across the canvas of life, but just as the gathering swirled with hope, Danny felt a shiver of doubt creep in. What if, in trying to build a bridge, he unknowingly widened a gap? Could they actually make this happen? Was it truly possible to start a movement that would reach beyond their small circle? He looked down at Emily, her small hands drawing fervently, her world still blooming with color. With a deep breath, he knew he had to chase this dream, no matter how daunting. Let us find out, he whispered, determination fueling his resolve. As the laughter and energy enveloped the space, Danny realized that the first brushstrokes of a new future had already begun to take shape. All he needed now was the courage to paint the next chapter. But what if? The voices they wanted to uplift were still too afraid to speak up. The next few days felt electric. Danny barely slept, his mind racing with ideas, plans, and worries. The gallery showcase was forming in his mind, and the vision was becoming clearer, but uncertainty loomed. What if they couldn't get enough attention? What if the kids didn't feel safe to share their stories? The whispers of doubt were persistent, but he pushed them aside, focusing on the potential for change. On Saturday, as the sun peeked through the clouds, the community center buzzed with excitement. Families streamed in, and the room was filled with chatter and laughter, all underpinned by a shared purpose. Kids darted around, their painted hands waving, as Danny welcomed everyone with a wide grin. Emily, bursting with energy, handed out name tags emblazoned with doodles, making each child feel special. "Daddy, look!" Emily squealed, her voice breaking through the hum of activity. She gestured towards a cardboard cutout of a giant easel, adorned with colorful messages that read, "Art is freedom. And every voice matters." He glanced at the outpouring of creativity around them. Each child's artwork told a story. A mural painted by a group of kids featured a massive tree filled with handprints, while another corner showcased a vibrant display of drawings depicting various neighborhoods. Danny felt his heart swell with pride as he gazed at Emily sharing her thoughts with her new friend, the little girl from before, but just as he settled into the joy of the moment, he noticed a boy standing alone at the edge of the room, clutching a small drawing nervously. His clothes were worn, and he seemed hesitant, eyeing the activity as if he were afraid to step forward. Danny's heart sank. This is what I wanted to avoid, he thought. Approaching the boy, Danny crouched down to meet his gaze. "Hey there," he said gently. "I'm Danny. What's your name?" The boy shifted uncomfortably. "It's Alex." His voice was barely above a whisper, and Danny could see the fear in his eyes. "Nice to meet you, Alex. That drawing you have looks amazing. What's it about?" Danny asked, trying to coax the boy into conversation. Alex looked down at his drawing, clenching it tighter. "It's just a picture of my house." Danny leaned in, genuinely interested. "A picture of your house? I'd love to hear about it. Can we look at it together?" After a moment of hesitation, Alex relaxed a little and handed over the drawing. It depicted a small, modest house under a big, colorful sky, birds soaring above. As Danny admired it, he could see the spark of his story hidden within the strokes of the crayons. "It's beautiful, Alex. You've captured so much life in that picture," he encouraged. Alex's face brightened just a smidge, but doubt quickly crept back in. "But everyone else's art is way better than mine." "No way. Every piece has a story, and yours is just as important as anyone else's. Would you like to show it in the gallery?" "I think everyone would love to hear your story," Danny suggested. Before Alex could respond, a buzz of excitement erupted nearby. A small girl climbed up onto a chair. "Who wants to share their art first?" she yelled. The room went silent, and all eyes turned toward her. Danny looked back at Alex, anxiety mixed with anticipation swirling in his stomach. "What do you think? Want to be the first to share?" The boy's eyes widened, and he hesitated, looking at the chaotic energy around him. It was now or never an opportunity not just for him but for everyone who felt silenced. Danny reached out, his hand steady. "You've got this," he said softly, his voice carrying the warmth of encouragement, but as Alex took a deep breath, preparing to step forward, Danny couldn't shake the feeling that the moment held more weight than he realized. Could this moment teach them all the power hidden in vulnerability? As the room focused on Alex, who remained just on the verge of stepping into the spotlight, Danny's heart raced. Would this decision start a ripple effect of courage, or would fear pull them back into silence? He couldn't look away, knowing that whatever happened next would shape the future for all of them. Would they all find their voice? A hush filled the room as eyes fell on Alex. The energy shifted, all anticipation and hope. Danny's heart pounded like a drum, each beat echoing the weight of what this moment could mean. He watched the boy wrestle with his fears, his small fingers trembling around the drawing. "Come on, Alex," Danny whispered, a mix of encouragement and urgency fueling his words, but the boy remained frozen, the world around him blurring as he faced the daunting prospect of sharing his story. Just then, Emily, sensing the tension, hopped off her chair, rushing to Alex's side. She grabbed his hand, her own excitement palpable. "Let's do it together," she declared, her eyes sparkling with an unwavering belief that filled the space like sunlight breaking through clouds. Alex met her gaze, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. Danny felt a surge of hope. She was a light, a beacon of motivation for the boy who had almost stepped back into the shadows. The little girl continued, "We can tell them how awesome your picture is. Everyone will love it, I know it." Her simple declaration pierced through Alex's shield of doubt. With a deep breath, he nodded slightly, his grip on her hand tightening. "Okay," he whispered, a tremor of determination breaking free. Danny beamed, pride flooding his chest. Together, they made their way to the chair, Emily leading the way, Alex still clutched in her small, empowering grasp. The crowd stirred with a murmur of curiosity. As they climbed up, Danny caught snippets of excited whispers from the other kids. "Look at the brave boy. He's going to show his picture." There was something special happening, a ripple of bravery spreading through the crowd. "Everyone!" Emily called out, her voice ringing clear. "This is my friend Alex, and he has something amazing to share." Alex's heart raced, both exhilaration and fear intertwining. He stood beside Emily, feeling the warmth of camaraderie and support. He slowly turned to face the room, his small frame silhouetted against the vibrant backdrop of art. Taking a deep breath, he lifted his drawing slightly, letting it flutter in the air like a flag of surrender. This is my house," he began, his voice trembling but growing steadier with each word. It's small, but it's home. I drew the sky because I like it when there are birds flying. The room remained still, hanging on his every word. As he spoke, Danny watched the tension in Alex's shoulders begin to ease. The boy was discovering his voice, each syllable breaking his chains of doubt. A soft gasp came from the crowd, followed by a chorus of nods and murmurs of support. A little boy in the front raised his hand. I love it. I can see the birds. Yes. Emily chimed in, excitement radiating from her. And look at the colors. It's like a happy day. Encouraged by the positive energy, Alex smiled, the corners of his lips lifting as he continued to share his story. Every word fell from him like petals, lightening the burden he had carried. In those moments, Danny sensed a shift not just for Alex, but for every child in the room. Together, they were breaking the walls of fear. The air filled with a sense of camaraderie, an affirmation that their stories mattered. As Alex finished, the room erupted in applause, cheers ringing in the air like music. The boy beamed, his pride shining brighter than any artwork on display. Danny felt tears prick his eyes, overwhelmed with emotion and the profound realization of what this moment could ignite in their community. Children were finding their voices, and he imagined how this could spark a change beyond today, but just as he celebrated the breakthroughs happening before him, a small, hesitant voice broke through the applause. Another child, a girl with fear lurking in her dark eyes, stood at the back. She clutched a drawing of her own, glancing back and forth between the stage and her crumpled paper. Danny's heart sank as he recognized her struggle. Would they continue the momentum of courage, or would this moment slip back into quiet? The room buzzed with excitement, unaware of the next potential challenge. Would someone else find the strength Alex had discovered? Would they all share their truths? The atmosphere hung in delicate tension, the next moment hanging like a thread, ready to weave another story. As the applause faded, the little girl at the back took a cautious step forward, her eyes wide with uncertainty. She glanced down at the worn edges of her paper, her fingers fiddling with the jagged corners, as if seeking solace in their familiar texture. Danny felt the room shift. He could sense a new wave of emotions brewing, a mix of courage and anxiety. It was all too real. The silence wrapped around the crowd, waiting, hopeful yet apprehensive. Would this girl find her voice? Her voice was soft but carried an undeniable weight. A few kids in the front leaned in, their faces lighting up with curiosity. What's your name? Emily turned to the girl, her eyes filled with support. Lily, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. The vulnerability etched in her expression made Danny's heart ache. Let us see your drawing, Lily. Emily encouraged, squeezing her hand gently, pulling warmth from the connection they were sharing. Feeling the cue from her friend, Lily raised her drawing slowly, her small hand trembling. The room remained still, every eye glued to her. As she unveiled her work, gasps fluttered around the space like startled birds. What is it? Someone finally asked, breaking the tension evident in the air. It's my garden, Lily began, her voice stammering as she found her rhythm. I grow flowers, they make me happy. I like watching them bloom. Danny could feel his heart swell at her words, her raw honesty resonating with everyone around. Visibly anxious but determined, she pressed on. The blue flower is my favorite. It reminds me of the sky and of things I can't always see. Yes. I see it. Shouted a boy in the front. It's really pretty. Just like you. Emily chimed in, her voice ringing with encouragement. Lily's eyes widened in surprise, a flicker of hope shining through her apprehension. Danny noticed her fingers relaxed, unknitting from the tight grip on the drawing. It was happening, Lily was blossoming before their eyes. Will you tell us more about your flowers? Danny prompted gently, his voice calm yet inviting. The other kids leaned in, eager to listen. Nodding slowly, Lily began to describe each bloom, her words finding strength in the collective breath of encouragement surrounding her. "This yellow one is for my mom. She loves sunshine," she smiled shyly. "And this red one is for my brother, because he likes the color." Danny watched as she painted her world with words. Each petal, each story was an opening, revealing the beauty she carried silently. The other kids murmured their support, everyone eager to hear more. In those moments, something remarkable happened. The atmosphere shifted again, this time expanding with shared vulnerability, a tight-knit community of bravery regardless of their differences. Two previously hidden voices had emerged, and with them came the courage for others to step forward too. As the applause returned, Lily stood taller, a newfound glow illuminating her small face. And yet, behind her, another child shifted nervously, his eyes darting around the room. His entangled hands suggested he faced a storm within, even as the warmth of connection filled the space. "Will you draw with me someday?" Emily called out, reaching out to Lily as she was enveloped by waves of applause. Lily nodded, her smile growing. But in the midst of joy, another child stood at the threshold of fear, the tension washing back over the crowd. Would he find his way to join them, or would he remain lost in the silence? Danny felt his breath catch, uncertainty draping over him. Hope and apprehension danced together in the air. Would this new moment spark yet another story, or would they lose their way again? He sensed that the beauty of bravery was just beginning, but how far would it stretch? The room stirred with expectancy, ready to see who would break their silence next. The tension in the room thickened as the boys shuffled anxiously at the back. Danny caught his eye, a flicker of recognition passed between them. He had seen that look before, a mixture of yearning and fear. Would he dare to step forward? "Hey, what's your name?" Emily called out, her voice breaking the weight hanging in the air. "Zach," came the muffled reply, as if he were hiding not just in the shadows but behind a wall of his own making. "Zach." Emily repeated, her tone bright and reassuring. "We would love to hear from you, just like we did from Lily. You're not alone, you know." Lily, glowing from her moment in the spotlight, turned to Zach with a warm smile. "Yeah. We're all friends here." Danny felt an electric pulse of support swell through the group. They were encouraging each other, and he silently cheered them on, hoping against hope that Zach would feel it too. Zach took a deep breath, glancing around. He was a small kid, shoulders hunched, hands shoved awkwardly into the pockets of his oversized hoodie. It was clear he had not expected this spotlight. His eyes darted to the ground, betraying a mixture of shyness and a wish to be seen. "Come on, buddy, you've got this." Danny encouraged, projecting warmth. Zach shifted his weight, finally stepping just a bit closer. I don't have a drawing." His voice cracked just a little, vulnerability spilling out. Danny's heart sank. He wanted to wrap the boy in a warm embrace, to remind him that he didn't need perfection, only honesty. "That's okay. You can share anything, your thoughts, a story you like, or what makes you happy," he suggested gently. Zach hesitated, looking at the blossoming warmth surrounding Lily. He seemed torn, caught between the comfort of silence and the pull of connection. "I like to build things," he began softly. With Legos. They're easier to control." A few kids leaned closer, intrigued. "What do you like building?" one eager voice asked. Zach's fingers began to relax as he found a rhythm in his words. "I built a car once. It was really fast." A smile crept up on his face, shy but undeniable. "And I made a spaceship." Excitement brewed among his peers, the sound of their encouragement swirling around him like a warm blanket. Danny watched as Zach began to open up more, a flicker of pride dancing in his eyes. "I like to make up stories about the things I build too." "Wow. Like what?" asked Emily, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. Zach paused, a slight blush creeping onto his cheeks. "Like the spaceship goes to a planet where everyone talks to robots." He stole a glance at the group, and the initial anxiety slowly peeled away, replaced by an eager energy. Lily clapped her hands together. That sounds amazing. I wish I could see that planet. Encouragement flowed freely now, laughter and chatter igniting the atmosphere. The kids rallied around Zach, thrilled by his imagination, and Danny felt hope soar within him. This was what they needed, a space where everyone could be themselves, no judgments, just acceptance. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the hallway, pulling everyone's attention. Heads whipped toward the noise, eyebrows raised in concern and curiosity. Danny exchanged glances with Emily and Lily, their expressions a mix of apprehension and wonder. What had happened? Was it another brave soul ready to reveal their story or something entirely different? The excitement was palpable, and he felt the momentarily shift in energy. Should we check it out? Emily whispered, her eyes glinting with intrigue. What if it's something serious? Danny replied, though a sense of adventure flickered to life. Or, what if it's just someone else looking for their voice? Lily suggested, her earlier courage resonating softly in her tone. Danny took a deep breath. The potential for bonding was in the air again, an invitation to discover something larger than themselves. They could either face the unknown together or stick to their newfound comfort. No matter what it was, he felt the vibrations of change thrumming beneath the surface. The room was alive, ready to embrace whatever was behind the door. Let us go find out, he finally said, turning back to the group, ready to guide them into the unfolding mystery. Would they unite once again, or would fear overshadow their growth? The group shared a collective breath before they moved as one, their curiosity outweighing their nerves. Danny led the way, heart racing as they stepped out of the safe space they had created in the room. Wait up! Zach called behind them, finally breaking from his hesitation. His small voice trailed after them, catching everyone's attention. Danny glanced back, surprised and pleased to see Zach gathering confidence, more determined than before. They emerged into a dimly lit hallway, the source of the crash still unclear. A few feet down, they spotted a stack of chairs that had tumbled over, the remnants of some chaotic mishap. It made them stop in their tracks, the group exchanging nervous glances. What happened here? Emily whispered, her wide eyes darting to Danny. Looks like someone knocked into them, he replied, trying to project calm. As they cautiously stepped closer, several more kids appeared from nearby rooms, their brows furrowed in concern. Among them was a tall girl with bright curls, who looked slightly older than the rest. She had an air of authority as she directed a few other kids to help pick up the chairs. What is going on? Danny asked, needing to understand what unfolded. Before anyone could answer, a voice rang out from the shadows. I am sorry. The words tumbled out of a boy who was at the edge of the growing crowd. He looked like he was about to cry, his cheeks stained with dirt, and his shirt askew. I didn't mean to crash the party. He blurted, gestures wild and frantic. I was trying to play soccer in the hallway, and... Danny recognized the boy from school, Ben, the new kid who had moved in just a month prior. A wave of empathy washed over him. It's okay, Ben, he said softly. We all make mistakes. Ben's eyes widened, a flicker of gratitude replacing the panic on his face. The judgment he was expecting hadn't come. Instead, hope flickered as if it were a candle in the dark. As the kids started to help gather the chairs, Zach stepped forward, offering a hand. I can help too. He said, his voice stronger now, as if he had found some newfound bravery from the group. Danny smiled, feeling pride swell in his chest. That's the spirit, Zach. The moment felt profound. Not just a simple act of cleaning up but a chance for the kids to come together, to build something new. They were working side by side, laughter mingling with the effort. Can we play soccer once everything's back? A little girl piped up, a hopeful lilt in her voice. Yeah. Ben perked up, grateful for the acceptance. I'm sorry again for the mess. Just a moment of fun gone wrong. We've all been there, Danny reassured him. He felt the energy shift again, warmer and more unified. Each kid was bringing pieces of themselves forward, just like Zach had done before. And in this moment of chaos, they were thriving, growing together. After the chairs were righted and the dust settled, Emily turned toward the group, her face aglow. "So, who's ready for the best soccer game ever?" Cheers erupted, renewing their excitement. Danny chuckled, momentarily caught up in their laughter and light. But there was still that sense of mystery in the air, the emotions swirling like a dance. The noise reminded him there was still so much more to learn about each other. Just as the first kick sent a ball rolling down the hallway, the crash from earlier seemed an echo of the unexpected moments yet to come. "Hey, wait!" A voice rang out, a girl pushing through the crowd. I think I want to share my story too." And just like that, the room filled with anticipation again. What would unfold next? Would it be another breakthrough, or could it reveal deeper fears hidden in the crowd? The sun hung low in the sky, painting everything in golden light as laughter echoed through the community center. This day had morphed from an uncertain beginning into a festival brimming with creation and strength. Danny felt alive, his heart soaring with every cheer and every kid finding their voice. As the stories unfolded, it felt like a tapestry being woven. One by one, kids stepped into the light, revealing their art and sharing their truths. Each shared experience broke down barriers. Fear dissolved like mist under the morning sun. Alex stepped up again, now with a confident stride. "I built a racetrack out of Legos," he exclaimed. The room perked up, eyes aglow with encouragement. "And then my spaceship can race against it." Danny beamed, heart swelling with pride at how each child was stepping out. Lily shared more about her garden. "And the flowers can fly," she added, her enthusiasm infectious. The kids buzzed with excitement, imagining a world where flowers soared in the sky like dreams coming true. Amid the joy, Danny caught sight of Zach, who stood slightly back, his smile beaming brighter with each word from his friends. He had found his voice, and it was a beautiful sound. He captured everyone's attention as he wove a tale of monsters defeated by heroically built Lego robots. The kids cheered for him, affirming that every story mattered. Suddenly, the chatter swelled, and a little girl pushed forward, her pigtails bouncing. "I want to share too," she cried, her voice ringing out with determination. The room quieted, all eyes on her, the eagerness in the air palpable. "Come on!" Emily shouted, her voice a warm invitation. "You can do it." The girl's face lit with confidence, and she stepped into the spotlight, holding a drawing of a bright sun surrounded by dancing stick figures. "This is my family," she said simply, her voice growing steadier. "We like to dance in the summer, and when we do, everything feels right." A soft murmur of appreciation swept through the crowd. Danny's heart ached with joy. This was more than just a gathering, it was an awakening. Each child's story echoed like a heartbeat, resonating with the very essence of their community, raw, relatable, and real. Then, from the corner, he spotted Ben, the boy whose crash had led to an incredible chain of events. He stood against the wall, watching, his eyes bright with longing. Danny felt a rush of purpose. It was time to invite Ben into this circle of safety and belonging. "Hey Ben!" Danny called, a determined smile spreading across his face. "Do you want to share too?" All eyes turned to Ben, apprehension flitted across his features, but something in Danny's gaze sparked a flicker of courage. With hesitant steps, he approached the center. I like to play soccer," he murmured, his eyes dropping nervously. "But I don't know how to draw." Danny stepped closer, feeling the weight of connection between them. "But your voice matters, just like everyone else's. Share your love for the game. Tell us what makes you keep playing." The gentle roar of encouragement enveloped Ben, urging him onward. "Okay, when I play, it feels like flying. I can go anywhere, and it's just I love it." Cheers erupted, buoying Ben's heart as he began to smile, realizing he belonged just as much as everyone else. As the moments danced on, they created a ripple of expression. Each child shared laughter, stories, dreams, and vulnerability assembling a vibrant mosaic of community spirit. The camaraderie sparked a conversation. "Can we keep this going?" A voice piped up. "Can we have art days every week?" "Let us organize," another chimed, "energy building. We can show everyone our art and have the best party ever." As the room buzzed with plans, Danny's heart beat fiercely. This was it, a movement blossoming from vulnerability. Something beautiful was emerging from their art, an invitation for everyone to the table, a celebration of individuality. And then, at the heart of it all, was Emily, her vivid spirit unfurling before everyone. "Let us show the world what we can do. With our stories, we can all shine." Danny felt tears prick his eyes, wrapped in the raw beauty of transformation. Every child had found a voice, and together they had ignited a force of community that would echo far beyond these walls. They were building something lasting, a legacy of unity and creativity, transcending the boundaries that had once divided them. As the sun dipped below the horizon, they knew it was not just a beginning, it was a leap into the vibrant tapestry of shared stories that would forever bind them. The laughter echoed into the night, the magic of connection igniting fires of hope, adhesive strong enough to create change. And once more, the power of connection soared, binding them all in a promise, to lift each other, to share their truth, and to create. So as the credits roll and the circle closes, remember this truth: you have a voice, a story, and a part to play. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.